Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Sylvanus League Finals. This is your first match. My name is two-star Mako, not Mako. And with me, as always, or for the first time, is Dave Pedham. Dave, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited to see this first match kick off. We have two really good opponents this tonight. One, Jerry Damage, who I've lost to already this season, and then the other one, Shadow Ranger, who's going to be coming out with a vengeance.
Yes, so we have Jerry Damage from the Ugly Mucklings and Shadow Ranger from Bon Voyage. This is our first match of the Sylvanus Finals, so this match has huge implications on the rest of the series.
Yeah, I like to picture matches like the whole 5-game series, kind of like a normal Sylv match. You know, you win and you have to try to get that break back, come back. You know, when you go down 1-0, it's difficult to come back, but so it'd be really, really important to win this first match.
Oh yeah, definitely. So taking a look at classes, we have Jerry Damage, who's going to be on the bottom as a FYI to all the viewers. Jerry Damage with the Hunter, Paladin, Rogue, and Warlock. And then we have Shadow Ranger with the Hunter, Paladin, Priest, and Shaman. What are your thoughts on those?
I really like these classes. I think all these classes are pretty versatile. So other than maybe the Priest, but like the Warlock can go a bunch of different directions. Hunter, you go Cube or Secret, or maybe even go full on with Odd Hunter. But everything's pretty versatile. So these players are going to be able to pick what they want, pick the matchups they want, and then play what they're comfortable with. So I like these choices.
If we both just came back from DreamHack. So if we go by popular DreamHack decks, we could probably think of this as a Death Rattle Hunter from the side of Jerry Damage, and then an Odd Rogue and an Even Warlock. What do you think about that? And then Shadow Ranger, possibly another Death Rattle Hunter with a Clone Priest and a Shudderwalk, or even it's kind of hard to tell on the Shaman side.
Yeah, Cube Hunter was by far the most popular hunter this past weekend. Even Lock, really, really good this past weekend. I don't think I beat it at all, and I played a stupid number of matches. Another deck that was really popular and performed decently well was actually the Resurrect Priest with the Xerix Cloning Gallery. And we do have Shadow Ranger coming in with the Priest, so it'll be interesting to see how that performs with the rest of the classes he brought.
I would love to see a Cloning Gallery Priest from Shadow Ranger. If he can just, if you're not familiar with Sylvanus, it is last hero standing, so whenever you win with a deck, you have to keep playing that deck until you lose, and if you lose with a deck, you cannot play it again. So if he can, if that is a Cloning Gallery Priest, and he can get that matchup into a Death Rattle Hunter and an Even Warlock, it should be a pretty easy matchup for him. Now, the Odd Rogue matchup will be pretty difficult. So if I were on the side of Shadow Ranger, I probably would not be wanting to queue in that Paladin first. What do you think we're going to see here first?
I'm not really sure. See, queue order is always difficult because you can either just queue your best deck and try to just get the sweep, and so maybe Shadow Ranger would think about trying to queue that Priest first. But then on Jerry's side, he sees, oh wait, that Priest's pretty strong. I think he's going to queue it first, and then maybe they queue the Odd Rogue first if that's what we end up seeing. And so it's just really difficult to know where to queue, and that's something I always struggle with. I think we have bans. I think
yes.
both players are banning the Paladin. And so this best of 5 is going to be Hunter, Rogue, Warlock on the side of Jerry versus Hunter, Priest, Shaman on the side of Shadow Ranger. What do you think about those Paladin bans?
It's definitely going to make for a more interesting series, in my opinion. As far as a casting standpoint goes. As far as a player standpoint goes, I'm not entirely sure. I do know that it's on the side of Shadow Ranger, it's probably a smart ban. Especially with the priests in the lineup and the shaman. I know both of those tend to struggle against Odd Paladin especially. On the side of Jerry with the Paladin ban, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. Although I don't have the statistics pulled up at the second. So on the side of Jerry, it looks like even Paladin has the favorite matchup against all the popular Hunter decks, as well as the Odd Paladin does have the favorite against Odd Rogue. Yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like, I agree with that. The Paladins are just good. You don't really know what they're going to bring a lot of times because you can go that really aggressive Odd Paladin, or you can slow it down with Even Paladin a little bit. And then some people try to pull things out of the hat like, OTK Paladin. I think the players are ready to go, and so hopefully we will be getting into the match pretty soon.
Yep, we're just ready, waiting on them to select their decks, and then we'll jump into spectate here in a second. What are your predictions for this match? Looking at statistics, Jerry Damage did go 7-4 on the season up to now, with a 22-21 game win-loss record, and then Shadow Ranger went 4-7 with an 18-26 game win-loss record. However, Shadow Ranger does have the higher PR if you factor that in and all in your prediction. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely bring the PR into it. About 70 PR difference. That is significant in my mind. But Jerry has been playing pretty well this season. One thing I look at is their game win-losses aren't too separated, but Jerry has won 3 more games. So what I see from that is Jerry is really good at countering and bringing decks that are going to counter, and he wins 3-2, but he wins. And so that's going to be very interesting how it plays out today.
Yes. We are in game.
None can escape my fury.
You have it pulled up?
Yep, we have Rogue on the side of Jerry versus Hunter on the side of Shadow Ranger.
Yes, and it looks like... Interesting. So, looking at this Leroy Elven Minstrel and the Sap, what are your thoughts on this? Is this just your typical Timbo Rogue?
I don't know, honestly. This is interesting. I'm very excited to see where this goes. And on the side of Shadow, it looks like we have a pretty standard, as based on what we see so far, Secret Hunter. And the hand from Shadow is looking pretty good.
Yes. If I were Shadow, I think with the Secret Keeper and then having a Secret End Spellstone, you might just toss the bow, but he doesn't really know what kind of rogue he's up against. So, yeah, this has got to just be a regular tempo rogue, right? No, this is a cube rogue. Who are we?
Oh.
We are crazy. I forgot that deck was in existence. Okay. This is going to get spicy.
Yeah. One thing I really like about this cube rogue is it is not something you would normally see in my mind. I think whenever people are preparing against an Ogre, they think they're really afraid of Quest because Quest is that evil demon that's been alive for forever, or you're looking at Odd Rogue. But this cube rogue can sometimes catch people by surprise. It'll be interesting if it's able to get on the board and take control and control the matchup a little bit before the Secret Hunter just goes off. What are you looking at here?
I think that was a good play here from Jerry too. His only other real option was to dagger. Eviscerate would have been just straight dumb on his part, but dropping that 3-1 is not going to be that useful as far as body goes, but it does take care of the Secret Keeper early before it gets out of hand.
Yeah, I agree. I like getting out there with the 3-1 contesting the board, but now Jerry has a decision. He can either go ahead and keep his 3-1 alive and trade in with the Necron Blade, with his play the Necron Blade and go and kill the Secret Keeper, or he can just trade the Cavern, the 3-1 in.
I think he just got to swing with the weapon.
And hope the secrets don't blow up. And there's the snake trap.
Yep. I think been played well so far by all these guys. So on the side, I hate how these cards are upside down. So on the side of Shadow, he's looking to go into a coin Spellstone. That's going to be hard for this rogue to deal with.
Absolutely. The coin Spellstone, you get 4 wolves on board. And we don't see any sort of AoE from Jerry.
Yeah, it's gonna have to be a Ziliak's turn.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they do.
I like how Jerry recognized last turn that, you know what, pushing 3 to face might be relevant at one point, but he's probably just going to get traded into anyways, and realizing that you can try to race the Secret Hunter when you have that advantage 3 on board.
See, and this was a pretty awkward turn here from Jerry too, and I think he made the right play. Just dropping that 3/3 body down, knowing that his opponent probably has a Spellstone after playing 2 secrets at this point, and has the coin, so that should let him deal with one of the wolves. Now, we know at this point that he has, a Cobra, but as far as Jerry's thinking go, I think that was the right play.
Yeah, I agree. One thing that I often think about when I'm playing against the Secret Hunter is how can I avoid triggering their secrets. But in this case, Jerry really didn't have a choice because you have to address the Secret Keeper, and you have to address everything else that's been on board so far. Interesting decision by Jerry to not swing with the Ziliax.
Yes,
I guess just valuing the Divine Shield over trading into a 3/3.
I think that was a misplay. I mean, without a secret on board, and then him having the 2 snakes, and then the possibility of a Spellbreaker, you just kind of lost out on 3 healing and then killing a wolf. Mm-hmm. Now you're sitting at 7 life with not much to do in response.
Yeah. I played a lot of last year's standing this weekend, but all my deck lists were open, and so I would know if my opponent had Secret Keeper that I needed to play around or anything. Do you know if the deck lists, obviously the deck lists aren't open, but do you know if Spellbreaker is pretty standard in Secret Hunter?
Let's take a look.
This guy's toast.
No, that seems to be a tech from his part.
So that's
Which
a pretty good deck.
Smart.
It worked out for him.
Looking at the most common decks on HS Replay, not a single one has a Spellbreaker inside of it. So that was a pretty good tech from his part.
And it works out. Shadow Ranger takes the first match, going up 1-0 with Secret Hunter over Cube Rogue.
Now, if you are Jerry at this point, what do you queue into the Secret Hunter?
That's really difficult, especially not knowing exactly what Shadow Ranger's bringing. Looking at the ladder stats, which most of the players in THL can play better than normal ladder stats, it looks like Priest would be pretty good against the Secret Hunter, and Shaman would be not so great. So unless they have something special going on, I imagine we'll probably see a Priest. I'm sorry, I'm looking the opposite way.
You're looking at the wrong people.
I'm turned all the way upside down and backwards. You want to take this? What would you look at queuing?
Back into the Secret Hunter. So he's got left a Hunter and a Warlock. So I mean, as far as statistics go, it's kind of looking like you would want to queue your Hunter into this, depending on what kind of Warlock he's bringing. If this is an even Warlock, the matchup is 50-50. Zoo, he has a slight advantage, but I think you just go with your Hunter.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're gonna have a hard time dealing with that Priest in general. So he went with the Warlock.
Warlock. We'll see what type it is. If it's Zoo or like a Controller Cube, I feel like this will be pretty favored. Even Warlock.
This is a 50-50 on paper.
Who can get on board first?
Shadow does not have a Spellstone in hand, and if Jerry decides to keep this Vulgar Homunculus, that can stop a lot of the early pressure from Shadow. I think here you keep the Vulgar Homunculus and you keep the Spellstone.
Yeah, I like both those. Lich King and Gin are both later game cards, and the Vulgar and Spellstone lets you control until you can get into the later game, where even locks cards are probably just generally. I think both players are banning. As for Shadow Ranger, and so this best of 5 is back his Secret and gets the Spellstone back. So now he has Animal Companion, Priest, Shaman on the side of Shadow Ranger. What do you think, my mana buff a beast into Spellstone, which could be interesting.
There's Rexar. That's going to be huge in this matchup. And so is this Hellfire. Both players have key cards that they need in these matchups. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think if I'm both players here, I'm pretty happy with what I have and what I'm looking at.
Now, do
Especially
you tracking
Jerry.
here? Is this the correct play? Like, what are you looking for?
I like it. Knowing that we're playing against an even lock, you have a general idea of how you're going to win. Knowing you have curve the rest of the way, you have your 3-4-5. Maybe not 5 play because you don't have any secrets, but you have your 3-4-6 play. And so
Yeah.
just seeing if you can fill out that curve, or maybe here looking between the Spellbreaker, Direwolf, and tracking, trying to fill out your one drop here or what. I'm not really sure where Shadow Ranger will go, but I like the tracking.
Yeah, I don't think the Dire Mole's definitely not necessary here. Spellbreaker, it could have its uses, but at the moment it's not really important. I feel like if you're on the side of Shadow Ranger, you have to try and get this Spellstone buffed and just pray that he doesn't have a Hellfire to deal with your wolves.
Yeah, which of course, knowing because we have the dynamic vision, Jerry does have the Hellfire.
Mm-hmm.
So decision point from Jerry here. He can either play the Vulgar or Homunculus, which he's going to choose, and that helps establish board and just saying, no, you're not going to be able to attack me. Or he could have tried to keep tapping into a giant, potentially next turn, or just getting closer to his bigger threats.
So if you're on the side of Jerry right now, your hand is full of removal and low damage threats. What are you looking to do here? Like, what is your game plan? Like, you don't have giants.
Mm-hmm. I think
You
as Jerry,
don't have
you realize you're not going to be able to put that much pressure, and so you're just trying to put up a wall here and just stall the game out until you can get your big pressure cards. This is an interesting decision to either trade in here or go face, or maybe even like coin out the plated ability he was looking at. He's looking at tapping now.
Tap blast. There it is.
Yeah. So Demonic Project is not super helpful in this matchup, if I'm thinking, but at the same time, I can absolutely understand why he's including it. It can just absolutely destroy some decks, especially knowing he's playing against the Shaman.
Yes. It could be useful later on whenever he gets this Rexar online. It could give him some sort of edge after he's built a big beast that he cannot play. But outside of that, Demonic Project just doesn't seem very useful here.
Yeah. So decision points from Jerry, looking at either playing that Spellstone, maybe playing the Hellfire. Having over a lot of cards, so we don't really know what is exactly going on in their mind. Yeah, what are you thinking about how the match is going so far? Who, if you had to put some money down, who would you put it on based on what we see so far?
I personally think Shadow has the tools to close out this matchup if he plays it right. With the Rexar that he's going to be able to play on curve, being able to put down those big damage threats, if he can get them built, we all know not every single beast that you build is going to be that great, but being able to get those big damage threats down that Jerry's gonna have to deal with, or else he's just going to die, could just be an issue. Usually in these matchups, you're kind of just looking for Rexar if you can't put on that early pressure. He was missing a 1 and a 2 drop earlier on in this game. So I think Shadow's gonna be able to take this, but we're just gonna have to see.
Yeah. Awkward turn here from Shadow. He ends up deciding to just play the 2/3/3 wolves and feels bad that you didn't get more value out of it, but he still has to put that pressure.
He has a game plan. He knows what he's doing next turn, going into the Rexar. He's wanting to get these wolves down. Maybe he can get rid of some removal from the side of Jerry, which he's going to do here, which is going to make him feel a little better whenever he puts out this Rexar. His opponent's going to have less removal to deal with any of his threats. And on the side of Jerry, not having any Drakes and not having any Giants is just kind of hurting him right now.
Yeah, exactly. As even lock, you want to try to put big things and say you can't remove this, and unfortunately, Jerry has not seen any big things yet.
No, he's put down 0 pressure this entire game.
Mm-hmm.
This is looking like a beautiful Rexar turn, but is that the correct play?
I like it because a lot of times the thought between Rexar and not is you get to keep your 2 mana, deal 2 to the face hero power. He chooses to play Secret Keeper and his second Spellstone. The advantages of this place, he's definitely putting more pressure on, immediate pressure. He's saying, I'm going to kill you before you can take over the board.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that part of it. But now from Jerry, you have no more Spellstones to deal with. And so you can plan your removal accordingly. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting.
I think you just got a Hellfire this board here. I mean, as far as our knowledge goes, we know that he can make these beasts even bigger if they stay on board. But from the side of Jerry, you just got to be thinking, if he's going with this line and he snap picked something earlier from the tracking, you know he had to have picked up a Rexar with how fast he picked that. So knowing that he probably has Rexar in hand, and he went that route, he's got to have something to just make those beasts bigger. And he ended up just killing them, which is the smarter play, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I like Jerry choosing to put this 2-3 on board, just saying, yeah, I don't have anything big, but I still have something. You still have to deal with this. Shadow Ranger comes back. Well, mine is bigger.
I'll never tell.
Now, with both Hellfires down, he's kind of just running out of removal at this point. He's got a Defile in hand, and then a Spellbreaker, if you want to consider that removal. But other than that, that's all he's got. Now, what do you do here? Would you consider coining the Lich King?
That's an interesting line. It goes pretty similar to the original plan of, play big things, but of course we know that Shadow Ranger is going to be able to clear it. It helps take down, because hopefully, at least you hope as Jerry Damage that Shadow Ranger's going to have to trade and stuff, but we'll see.
Your magic shall not save.
So, looks like Jerry Damage setting up a Defile play here, clear the board. I like it. Just saying, I'm just going to keep controlling. You can't touch me.
I just realized that earlier I said that he snap-picked Rexar from tracking, and that was not the case whatsoever. He picked Spellbreaker.
Yeah, he ended up taking the Spellbreaker, but that's still a read that you can have as Jerry's point of view. You pick something from Rexar, and you're assuming it's decent, assuming it's good.
I think you just got a Rexar here. I mean, play your weapon. This is your turn with nothing on board.
Yeah, giving up that hero power against a deck that likes to damage itself does feel bad, but I think at this point you're recognizing that you're not going to have enough pressure to get there on your own, and you need a little help from the furry army.
Now, if you're on the side of Jerry Damage, you see him play this Rexar here. What are your outs starting to look like? Next turn, he's going to have a big beast built.
I think, as Jerry, I'm looking at this matchup and saying, you know what? Even though you have your X turn, you're going to be getting infinite value. You're not going to be getting that much, hopefully, clearing things. And so I'm going to just keep playing big things. Probably think about playing this Lich King, maybe playing the 2 4/4s, and just saying, I'm going to put pressure onto you now and flip the script. I can tell you're running out of resources, and now I'm finally starting to draw my big things.
Did you say flip the script?
I think I might have. That's not what I meant.
I think he said. I heard flip the script. That's a nice little call out there.
Yeah, I mean, not to veer too far into Rag territory, Ragnaros League, but Scritch is going to get flipped coming up soon.
Oh. For those of you unaware, I am on HSA and Dave is on Collective Mayhem. We are just doing a buddy cop comedy right now for the Sylvanas League matchup. But after this game ends, we will go back to being mortal enemies.
I mean, yeah, I'm usually pretty good at controlling my emotions, so as far as you know, I may be a mortal enemy right now. Interesting beast from Shadow Ranger. That lifesteal's pretty good, 5/4's pretty good, and I really like how he's been getting good value from these Razor Mars so far.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to land them on things, and yeah.
Interesting, no silence. How much importance would you place if you were in Shadow Ranger's position on Jerry getting another Lich King card here.
As for me, when I see Lich King, I'm like, oh no, I never was actually able to beat that boss, and so I see Lich King, and I'm like, I'm gonna try to kill it or shadow it as quickly as silence it as quickly as possible. From Shadow Ranger's side, I can see that he has only one Spellbreaker. He wanted to make sure he's getting Beast, and he has a way in his mind to kill it next turn with his 8/4 on board.
This is a good line here from the side of Jerry.
Ooh, I like
Completely
that.
clear your opponent's board, push 3 damage with the spell, and then another 8 with the Lich King.
I really like that.
And
Jerry
that
was-
Obliterate deals with threats. That Obliterate not only deals with threats, but it also would put you in the range of the Hooked Reaver based on, traditional beast sizes.
Ooh,
Oh, wow.
Shadow Ranger picking up the poisonous rush beast. Able to clear that Lich King now. Yeah. He doesn't get to deal with the 6/6 though, so Jerry will continue putting pressure. He keeps hovering over the Bone Mare, just thinking it's now the time to put 10 to the dome. So we've reached a point where Jerry has much bigger hand. He has the board. When you look at these beasts right here, what are you looking for from Shadow Ranger? What beast are you looking for?
Maybe a bloat bat poisonous clear. I don't think there's really that much that you can do that can save you here. That's not lifesteal or poison. He needed something that's not it at all.
The random beast will get there. Rushes, but it doesn't heal.
I gotta get there.
Did halfway, and Jerry's able to get back, take it back to a 1-1 even series, and take control, so to speak. Now that he gets to keep his even look. Where do you?
So now, I think that was played pretty well from the side of Jerry. If you were in Shadow Ranger position, what would you have done to change that game around? Would you have played Rexar 2 turns earlier? He played him on turn 8, but he had him for turn 6.
It's really difficult. From the Hunter, I could definitely see a line where I look at this and say, you know what? He hasn't played anything big. I've been putting pressure on him. Let's just keep putting pressure.
Mm-hmm.
I think in hindsight, obviously, we can see that he should have started making big things earlier. But in the moment, I can absolutely see why he said, I like my deal 2 to the face.
So now we are an even Warlock from the side of Jerry going into either a priest or a shaman. If you are Shadow right now, what would you be queuing up?
Honestly, it really comes down to what I brought. If I was, saw this coming into it, maybe I had brought my even shaman, and I'm able to queue my even shaman, which is decently favorable against even warlock. Or maybe my priest is something spicy, like a divine spirit, inner fire, combo-ish priest. So maybe that does well. He does queue the priest, and so we'll see.
This is the clone priest. So the clone priest does have about a 6% 6% positive over the even warlock. Now the out for the even warlock here in this matchup is to get those giants down early, and just hope that the priest doesn't have any sort of way to deal with them. One thing I am noticing throughout these matchups is that I believe Jerry's cards are all golden.
Ooh, now they point.
Have you picked that up yet?
I saw a few golden cards earlier. I hadn't noticed that they were
his
all
entire
golden.
deck. I don't know if it's just the even warlock that he has all golden, or if it's I don't remember very much that first matchup, but this man is either a big fan of the even warlock or he is rich. So let's see. He's got the cloning gallery in hand. That is huge, and a mind blast. This is huge on the side of Shadow Ranger. With the amount of
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yes, no, you're correct. I didn't see that Velen over there. That's an issue. Um, that basically means that whenever he drops his cloning gallery, he's only going to have a Malagos, and he's only pushed down 10 damage, which is chances are not going to be enough to kill here, unless he's just tapping so much. But I don't think we're going to see that happen.
Yeah, from the side of Jerry, we're seeing him forego taps to play 2-drops. I kind of like that decision because he's recognizing that he wins this matchup by putting early pressure. He's understanding that he taps and gets low. That's where you get OTK'd. And, 4/7s are big enough. We all know that 4 attack minions are really difficult to deal with as a priest. And so I like what Jerry's doing there, just putting pressure.
Yes, the 4 attacks are out of the range of both shadows. So this has been a pretty good line from Jerry so far.
Yeah, we'll see what he does when he's going to have to most likely float a mana here, if he chooses to still use it to tap.
I think you tap here. I think you should tap first. You should be looking for those giants. I don't think you can just win this game from 2-drop minions, because if you look, he's he's out now.
Yeah. Yeah, interesting thing. I think that's both Vulgar Homunculuses so far from Jerry, and neither one of them landed on a Spellstone. So it'll be interesting to see if that unfortunate lack of healing comes back later.
So let's see. Shadow does have a Spellstone in hand. Currently in his res pool is just the Gargoyle and the Radiant Elemental. I think if you're on the side of Shadow, what do you do this next turn?
Honestly, I've never played this deck, so I would have very little clue. I do see he has a bunch of 7-drops in his hand at 6 mana, and I could see a world where coining out a 7-drop, maybe the Prophet Velen is a good play. And then you can and that is what he'll end up going. He'll coin out the Prophet Velen, and then from there you can start resurrecting it.
Yes, so coining out this Prophet Velen, if it gets killed this turn, he could resurrect it with the Eternal Servitude, and if Jerry continues to go wide, he can heal back up probably to 30 with the Spirit Lash, but it looks like he's just not going to kill it. He's just going to silence it and probably go face. So this 7/7 is not going to be able to kill itself off, so he's not going to be able to res it.
Yeah, Jerry Damage recognizing here that, a 7/7 when I have 1 taunt in the way is not going to bother me much, and I'm going to put you to 10 and see if you have an answer. He knows that Shadow Ranger has already used 1 Spirit Lash. Of course, we as spectators can see that he has the second one, and he's just saying, I'm just going to go in and see if you can get out of it. Shadow Ranger does look like he's about to pick up the Spirit Lash to try to get back up, try to clear some stuff.
Yes, he's going to try and get himself out of range of death here. I don't really know what you're looking for. The Eternal Servitude. The only 2 minions that have died so far are the Radiant Elemental and the Gargoyle.
But if you resurrect a Radiant Elemental, then you discount your spells and you start using them, and then your spellstones are bigger. And so whenever it does come down to it, you can you can resurrect a bunch of things with your spellstone. One interesting thing is Shadow Ranger does have coin Xerx's cloning gallery next turn. So from Shadow Ranger, I could definitely see him thinking that he might just need to make it to 8, and then he's going to be able to heal up. Great top deck here from Jerry Damage, being able to... I don't think he has many dead demons. I guess he has 2 Vulgar Homunculuses, but he deal 3, heal 3 is a pretty good 2 mana.
Computing.
I kind of like this line here. Is he thinking about bone marrying this Drake?
It looks like it. He swung in with the ooze first, and so I guess he knows that the bone mare will go on his Twilight Drake. Other lines he may have could have had is playing 2 of his 4 drops. None of them look like they're particularly valuable right now, but I do like just saying I'm going to go in, put 16 attack on board, and saying see if you can do something about it.
All right, let's see what we have going on here. This is gonna let him cycle a little bit with the Lyra. He gets a Shadow Word Death off of it. Oh wait, yep. So
he gets a Shadow Word Death, 3 taunts with Lich King, the 5-mana 3 Zilliax, and 2 Witchwood Grizzlies. Those Witchwood Grizzlies, if he can get resurrected, will become 3 12s and put a
yes.
giant wall. Jerry Damage, recognizing that it was Xerath's cloning gallery, saved his.
Yes. Jerry Damage also missing lethal. He could have just Hellfired there to clear and then attacked with the Bone Mare, and he would have just won the game. But he's deciding to give his opponent another chance.
Yeah, I don't think he saw that. Let's see how Shadow Ranger can come back with this. Let's see if these spells.
Man, sometimes just killing all the 1/1s with 1 damage is just too spicy to not take, you know?
Mm-hmm. It definitely pops out off the page at you. It definitely says this is the best play when you look at it.
Oh, of course.
So from Shadow Ranger here, looking at some potential RNG, looking at with his what he resurrects, he could discover to make it come in with what he wants. He's choosing to coin to get up to 10 mana, maybe. I don't know. This is gonna be interesting.
He can kill off the 6/6 with the Shadow Word Death if he so chooses. Yes. Okay.
Unity, precision, perfection.
And the coin trade, and he's at.
I think this puts what 6?
Yes. So he's not dead.
Has Jerry Damage used a Spellstone?
Now he's dead. Now he's dead. If he sees it this time, I thought he'd see it last time. He didn't. So let's see. Okay. He saw it.
Yep, just extending the stream time a little bit, helping us out, giving everyone extra time to get their Twitch subs in. And yeah, so Jerry goes up 2-1.
Yes, so Jerry's going to be continuing with this Even Warlock into the last deck from Shadow Ranger, which is the Shaman. So most likely this is going to be an Even Shaman or a Shudderwalk Shaman. What are you thinking this is going to be here? If you were on the side of Shadow Ranger, what would you have brought?
It's really difficult because we've seen him he brought 1 Aggro-ish deck with Secret Hunter. He brought 1 Control-y deck with Resurrect Priest, and then from here we have a aggro deck and a Control-y deck to choose from. So I'm not really sure what the Paladin was, but
let's take a look.
Let's see.
Well, I'm gonna assume this is a Shudderwalk Shaman based on the Shudderwalk in his hand.
And the 2 other odd cards, I would agree with that.
And unless this is an odd Shaman and this is just the spiciest deck of all time.
I don't remember who it was, but I heard someone talking about a potential odd OTK Mechathune.
Oh, you're correct. That was MMI, Scritch, and myself. Yes, so the way to kill off Mechathune with the odd Shaman, basically you play both of your what's the mech called that discounts the other mechs in your hands?
The 2-mana 1/2. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah. Yeah,
so with Mechathune in hand, you play both of those, and then after you play both of those, you grumble them back to your hand, and then you play them again, so your Mechathune is at 6 health, and then all you have to do is Crushing Hand your Mechathune twice.
That would be incredible. Unfortunately, seeing the other Shadow Rangers cards doesn't look like what it is. Looks like a pretty normal Shudderwalk Shaman, but we have seen some good attacks from Shadow Rangers thus far. Now for side of Jerry damage, in his hand so far is double Mountain Giant, Demonic Project Hellfire was his opening hand. If I'm Jerry damage, I am quite simply happy right now.
I'm feeling pretty good if I'm Jerry damage. He's looking at Mountain Giant next turn, and Shadow Ranger just does not have a way to deal with it right now. He'll be able to drop down a Corpse Taker that will give him a neck. Oh, nope. Jerry does have a silence. He can connect the face here with this 8 damage next turn if he wants to use the silence on the Corpse Taker.
Yeah, he knowing Jerry seems to have another potential giant. He has Spellbreaker. Jerry is looking pretty hot. We'll see what Shadow Ranger can draw or pick up and play to get around that, but yeah, this is looking not in a great place for Shadow Ranger and the rest of Bon Voyage. Jerry Damage has some interesting decisions here. He has the silence to be able to just push 8, or he could try to keep developing and play a potential Mountain Giant or Twilight Drake. He does choose to go with the Spellbreaker and hit him in the face.
This Spellbreaker does develop too a little bit. 4/3 is nothing to laugh at.
That's true, that's true.
So he's going to trade the 3/3 into... Oh, that's the top deck Hex. So he was able to connect for 8 damage. That could mean a lot in the later stages of the game. However, we all should know after facing against Shudderwock Shaman that 8 damage is nothing for a Electra healing rain. So...
Yeah, 5 mana Reno Jackson is pretty good. I guess 6 mana, excuse me.
I am not a fan of this deck.
Jerry Damage playing his other giant and choosing to taunt it up. What do you think about taunting his giant there?
I didn't really do much for him. He didn't know that the volcano was in hand, but the Shadow Ranger was not putting forward any sort of pressure that the taunt was very necessary for. So I guess just having that 2/3 body on board was his thought process.
Mm-hmm. I think the volcano came off the top actually. So from Shadow Ranger, you've suddenly gotten to a point where you hexed one giant, you volcanoed a second, and you just earth shocked a Twilight Drake. And so suddenly from Shadow Ranger, I'm feeling pretty good about my hand. I'm like going into 8 mana. Evenlock has just a 2/3 on board, about to turn into a 6/7. But
so if you're on the side of Jerry Damage, what are your outs here in this match? You've lost both giants. You've lost your Drake. But this Demonic Project, this could just be your saving grace.
Yes, that would be extremely spicy if Jerry ends up winning this match with a well-timed Demonic Project. For one thing though is Evenlock is sort of just like a ticking timer, and Shudderwock Shaman is just normally just trying to get in with his Shudderwock before that timer goes off. And so I think Jerry Damage has 11 damage right here, and he's just going to keep pushing face, keep attacking and saying, you know what, I'm going to kill you before you can start going off.
Do you tempo the Hook Driver here?
I don't know, that's a very difficult decision. Looking at my board, it's pretty small. Something like a Lightning Storm, which we can see has it, but obviously doesn't know, or a Volcano does clear the board. The extra 4/4 is potentially relevant if Shadow Ranger heals for a little bit, but you have lethal setup on board, so I think I would not normally tempo the 4/4, but he's thinking about it.
I agree. I think you have to save that for a little bit later after he's used some more threats, because if you... Oh, he's going for the Demonic Project now.
He doesn't hit a Shudderwock, obviously, because we see it has no Shudderwock, but hitting that Life Drinker is significant, because now there is one less Life Drinker in Shadow Ranger's deck, and it delays the healing a little bit.
Now, we do not know if Jerry is playing 2 demonic projects. I know some of these even warlocks do bring 2 demonic projects when they know they're going to be facing control. He goes with the double lightning storm just to make sure that the whole board is cleared.
Yeah, I think Shadow Ranger just saying, you know what, 6 damage is a lot, and I don't really want to be taking it over and over and over again. And so I'm just going to go in and clear that now, develop into it, have significant pressure on board. This goes away pretty quickly, but yeah, I kind of like that decision.
Job's done.
Shadow
Man,
Ranger.
look at this pressure. That 1/6 lifesteal taunt. That's terrifying right there, man.
Yeah, Jerry damage just hopefully eventually drawing into it. But of course, when you connect for 1 for 13 turns in a row, you can be pretty successful, as Jerry is setting up. More importantly, he cleared the Corpse Taker with its all potential effects. And yeah. So from Jerry here, I'm freaking out because I just see a Shadow Ranger playing Shudderwalk Shaman with lots of cards in hand, and I'm just like, when is it coming? When is it coming?
Oh, we're gonna get really spicy here. Unstable evolution.
Crack me up.
Going off.
What you want?
So he's gonna leave this at the Worgen Abomination. At the end of your turn, deal 2 damage to all other damaged minions. In case you're ever wondering what that card was, because I sure was wondering what that card did.
Yes, Worgen Abomination is a 7 mana. Unfortunate that Shadow Ranger couldn't get up to 8 mana. That is a lot of times a sweet spot for, quite frankly, just good cards. But yeah, choosing
it's
to
not
heal
the
up.
worst 7 mana minion he could have gotten. It could have been worse if you're on the side of Shadow. For example, Lanessa would have been funny here.
I'll be honest, I don't remember what Lanessa is either. So which one is it?
Lanessa is the Paladin legendary that replays all buff spells that you played on other minions onto itself. She's a 7 mana 1/1.
That's right. It like plays all spells that you played on your own
Yes.
minions. I
Come on, man. You've never watched the Lanessa OTK.
I have not. I actually did
missing
get that
out.
card playing Big Spell Mage this weekend, and it gave me a nice little water elemental for about
Speaking
9
of
mana.
getting cards from Big Spell Mage, can we talk about the Scritch versus Icon Big Spell Mage mirror that happened at DreamHack this weekend?
Sure. For those of you who've not seen the video, it's on the THL, one of the THL discords.
It's on. I think it's on. It's either on THL and Chill or the memes and off topic. I believe it's THL and Chill, but it is a beautiful sight to see.
Scritch was able to bounce both a Grumble and a Mechathune off random effects in Big Spell Mage. Bounce
Off of Syndergosa.
with Grumble, and then killed his Mechathune with a Meteor when he had no cards in hand, on the board, or in his deck. Winning the game, killing Icon with Mechathune as Big Spell Mage.
Yes, it was a beautiful sight to behold.
Shadow Ranger here using his heal to make sure he bounces both his minions back. Crashing my spectator. Yeah, I guess you're gonna take over from here.
Alrighty then. So Jerry right now has the file 2 Hooked Reavers and a Spellstone. These Hooked Reavers are only 4/4s because Jerry Ranger is sitting at 35 health. So not a whole lot of tempo play coming out from the side of Jerry. this 8A is probably going to be able to connect to face here. And if you're on the side of Jerry Damage, you are getting a little scared. Especially with the amount of cards in your opponent's hand. Almost all of which you just have no clue of what they are, because they came off of this Shaman Bewitch hero power. That's a Stormbringer. If we are going for full memes, we're going to end up playing this, but we all know that's not the correct play.
I think eventually the 0-1 could be a random legendary, which would be cool, but the Grumble is
Pretty
pretty
cool.
powerful and pretty aggressive. Jerry Damage, recognizing now that he has Gul'dan and the heal 3 every turn hero power, he's probably not going to get down to 15 to get 7/7s out of these Dark Reavers, plays them down to just put pressure.
If you're on the side of Jerry Damage, is hero power face the play here? He's hero power face 2 times so far. If he had hero powered he's going for the Stormbringer. That is a charged, now 10-5 Hellscream.
And with the random ancestral hero healing off Bewitch,
And it's back to a 4-9.
I'll be honest, I did not see that interaction. I was ready for my 10-9 to be able to hit face multiple times.
Well, the wording on the card is has plus attack while damaged. So, if you are at full health, you are not damaged. Now, it is physically damaged. He could still be mentally damaged. If we want to take that up with Blizzard, we could do so.
Yes, he came out of nowhere, randomly summoned from a Blood Imp. So that sounds like some demonic summoning there.
Look at him. He's obviously upset. Someone didn't love him enough when he was a child.
Yes.
Now, if you're on the side of Shadow Ranger, you just have so many threats that Jerry can put out. Hex being one of them. Crushing Hand could be another one. You have this Healing Rain to heal you back up.
Yeah, as Shadow Ranger, I'm feeling pretty good here. I have a full board. I'm at high health, gonna heal back to full with Glass Knight Healing Rain.
Oh, listen to that sound.
It's like a nice little twinkling.
It's going so slow because it's the animation. Now, let's see if you can find the extra damage pushed forward if he wanted to go full meme here.
I'm sorry, what?
Shadow could have pushed 6 extra damage forward if he wanted to go full meme here.
By crushing
he still
hand
can.
his Hellscream?
Oh, hell yeah.
That would be a spicy lethal that could be.
Oh, yeah, it could be.
Not quite, because Jerry Damage is going to heal back up
Well,
with his Spellstone. But
so let's see, 21.
from Jerry Damage, you feel like time is running out. Now, not only are you looking at the Shutterwalk clock, you're also looking at the bunch of pressure clock.
I mean, so far, your opponent has only played, So one Chain Gang now. He played, Grumble. Has he played a Life Drinker? I know one got hit, but I don't think he played one from hand.
No, I don't think he has, actually. He has played the double 2 of heal things, and we see the Shutterwalk come off the top. So at any point he could start playing this, but I think, as you mentioned, he doesn't have a Life Drinker yet.
I don't know if he really needs one. Or do you even need a Life Drinker at this point? I mean, you might just want to play that just for the tempo.
I think not, because if you play the Shutterwalk...
Oh, this is an Alakir? He's running Alakir in his deck.
That is
just lethal.
Well,
I don't know about you, but I was not expecting Alakir in Shutterwalk Shaman deck.
No, I was not either, and I would be quite surprised if I was Jerry right now. So this brings the series back to 2-2, I believe, correct?
Mm-hmm. So we have Hunter from the side of Jerry, and we do not know what kind of hunter that is. versus the Shutterwalk Shaman from the side of Shadow Ranger.
Yeah, this
So-
match, as all good finals matches, coming down to 2-2. Everyone back at home on the edge of their seats. We've been going for about an hour. This is
If you're-
fantastic.
If you are on the side of the Hunter, it looks like your favorable matchup is in the Death Rattle Hunter. But for the Seeker and Spell Hunter variants, you are slightly not favored to win that match, but only by about 5 to 7%. So we're going to see what kind of Hunter Jerry Damage has brought here in a second.
One thing that I think is misleading about these stats is, sure, you might be 5 to 7 unfavored, but that's whenever you're facing this deck randomly on ladder. Whenever I see a deck on ladder, depending on where I'm at, I might be thinking even Shaman. And so knowing that I'm mulliganing for Shutterwalk Shaman, I can be a lot more aggressive with my mulligans and a lot more, I'm just going to hit you.
Yes.
Which
So
might
this is
swing
a
in your
Seeker
favor.
Hunter, it looks like.
Yes, I think that's a correct assessment. And on the side of Shadow Ranger, he already has the Kel'Seth, he has the Manatide in hand, plus some things to clear the board and silence. And yeah, it's a very interesting mulligan from Shadow Ranger.
Looks like he's just keeping the whole hand, which I believe to be the correct play.
Job done.
Yeah, I like it. I think you have, as a Shutterwalk Shaman, you want to be able to play Battle Cry minions, draw cards, kill the opponent's big stuff, and clear their wide stuff. And you see all
Is-
4 things.
Now, what was there a line there of coining out that Kel'Seth?
I don't think so, because getting an extra 1/1 a potential minion that you might draw next turn is not super relevant, I think. Maybe if you draw a Serenite or something you wish you had, but I don't think it's the extra 1 damage this early in the game is that.
What about for the tempo play?
Truth is found.
I don't know. I think
If
knowing
you had that 2/2 down, you could deal with that 3/2 immediately. If your opponent did have some way of buffing beasts, that could become a problem.
That's true. That is true. I think knowing that I have the Lightning Storm and Volcano on board on hand, I'm okay with just taking it slow there.
I think so too.
Jerry Damage
Yes.
rolling Misha, and now his Crackling Razormar.
Job's done.
Beautiful golden card, by the way. And Dire Mole can push face free of charge.
I want to know where Jerry is getting all these golden cards from. Does he have a secret in at Blizzard?
I think maybe he's just full free to play and just plays Hearthstone 24/7.
You know
and
what?
then just
I-
earns that gold.
I think I figured it out. I think
Yeah?
I think Jerry Damage is actually Brian Kibler.
I could be, Jerry Damage by day, Brian Kibler at night. Have you ever
I
seen
think
a Kibler night stream?
Job done.
yeah, I've never seen Jerry Damage and Brian Kibler in the same room together. I can tell you that.
That is very true.
Jerry Damage could just be a alternative account for Brian Kibler.
Shadow Ranger choosing to coin out the Manatide, saying, I don't think you have a way to deal with this right now. I don't see anything at least, and getting those draws off is important. Of course, from Jerry Damage, we see him come back with Eagle Horn Blow and saying, yeah, I can stop your draw.
Now, would you secret or would you hero power in this case? Do you care more about the 2 extra damage or having another secret on board?
Job's done.
That's a really difficult decision. Knowing that I'm not going to activate any secrets anytime soon, I think I'm okay with hero powering, just pushing damage, ending the game as soon as possible. This next turn, I think I want to be playing secrets.
Ooh, that's a subject 9.
That's difficult because it's cleared on board pretty easily, but at the same time, drawing a handful of secrets is very difficult to play around and pretty powerful. Jerry Damage running
Well-
Snipe and his Secret Hunter. I like that as text. You can tell both these players thought specifically about what they were running rather than just running normal ladder lists.
The other thing we need to talk about playing that subject knight as well is pulling 4 secrets there. Also thins out his deck, and he is probably looking for the Rexar. So having 4 secrets out of his deck and 4 cards getting out of the way of that Rexar just pushes him closer to one of his outs. Because he is not developing a board that is pushing too much of a threat towards the face of Shadow Ranger.
That's a very good point. Yeah, that's I think often almost a secret benefit of playing Subject 9.
Ha. Ha. That's all you get for that.
We saw Jerry Damage thinking about playing this freezing trap, maybe trying to not let Shadow Ranger get value off of this Corpse Taker. But he ends up going
Job
with
done.
most of his other secrets instead. One interesting interaction here is if the Corpse Taker swings into the Cobra, since the Cobra wouldn't be damaging it, since the Corpse Taker has a Divine Shield, it would not kill it.
Yes, that's true.
Of course, it's okay because Jerry Damage just says, "I'll play another Cobra."
And he's going to silence the Cobra. That is both poison minions down from the side of Jerry Damage. And that's a kill command. That could be useful for the extra face damage push later, or it could be useful now to say, hey, I don't want you healing 3 more health, and I can't really deal with it right now.
Yeah, I like that. I don't think you saw a way to kill the Corpse Taker anytime soon with this hand, and so by killing that, assuming that you just save 2 attacks from the Corpse Taker, that is essentially dealing 6 to face. And so, I think another great decision by Jerry.
Yep, I like this play too. I like playing that snipe. That's go on.
I was gonna say another thing Jerry just did there is he cleared all potential bounce backs from Grumble, knowing that we're going into turn 8 and Grumble could come down and get extra freeze effects.
And that is a Hagatha. That will full clear the board. Now, if you're sitting on the side of Jerry Damage, you don't really have much to go on. You're kind of just hoping and praying that at some point you're going to draw this Rexar. Because you've played almost all of your secrets now, and you haven't pulled a single Spellstone yet.
Yeah, that's a very good point. Especially knowing that Hagatha just came down, I could definitely see a world where saving your secrets could be worthwhile.
And that snipe will get rid of the Divine Shield from the ally, but it does not actually hurt it. It will still be able to connect to 8. Oh, what is this other secret? Oh, Freezing Trap, never mind.
And Shadow Ranger does trigger the freezing trap.
And that is
bounces
a
Alex
10
here back.
mana Alakir. That's a Houndmaster, but again, you don't have any beast. You might even consider just tempoing the Houndmaster.
Yeah, it's an interesting decision. Knowing that you want to try to get value off of your 2/2s and knowing that eventually Shadow Ranger is going to play something in Flanking Strike, I can see the reason for holding that. So because of the order, I guess the order doesn't matter here. But being able to trigger both Snake Trap and the Watering Monster here is pretty good. You know, normally you'd be really upset about rolling a 1/2 off your
Oh, there's
secret.
the Rexar.
That is going to be powerful.
The eternal
Rexar into a flanking strike and trading in one of these snakes will clear off the Alec here and give him his main out for this game.
Job's done.
Yeah, so from here, every turn is going to come in. You're going to hit that hero power. You're going to build something big and powerful, and hopefully just start chipping away on those final 22 life.
Now, we do need to point out that on the side of Shadow Ranger, he does have double Volcano, Inner Shock, and a Hex. He has a lot to deal with any sort of threats that Jerry does put down.
Yes.
That is a Spellstone that just got pulled out from the side of Shadow Ranger. If he can get that Spellstone onto that Grumble, those threats might just be too big for Jerry Damage to deal with.
Yeah, the 8/8s are pretty big. Yeah. At some point, I think it's really interesting that we've seen Shadow Ranger win the last matchup with Alec here going face. And this matchup, he has an 8/8 and a 3 on board. And we don't know exactly how the rest of the match is going to play out. But we could see 2 Shutterwalk Shaman games winning without ever playing Shutterwalk.
Mm-hmm.
One important thing is by playing that Zola, not only is Shadow Ranger building his combo, he's also catching up on the golden card count with Jerry. And so, see if he can start making a comeback there.
That is true. It currently is 30-2.
But if we look in hand, Shadow Ranger's actually up 2-1.
You're right. Shadow Ranger is winning this match. Not on board, but in golden cards. And that's really what's most important.
Shadow Ranger using the Earth Shock because he did not want to deal with those potential poisonous and big beasts.
He takes the value trades as well. I believe this would be the correct play here.
Yeah, I like it. I don't really like racing a hunter normally in pretty much anything. I think they're pretty fast. And by clearing the board, taking value trades, you can... Not only are you healing up, you're... just slowing the game down until you get your combo off. I really like that healing ring also, healing your Zola, and so that way the 1/1 snake cannot trade into it. So Jerry Damage does have 2 beasts on board that can be traded in to buff this Scavenging Hyena if he chooses to take it. We don't know what he chose, but it could be potentially pretty big.
Now, one thing we haven't really talked about here is with another Grumble in hand on the side of Shadow Ranger. If Jerry clears off this Grumble, but he does not clear off the Zola, Shadow can just Grumble this Zola, and then Zola the Grumble again, and have another Grumble in hand.
That's a very good point.
That's a 6-mana 7/7. That's not easy to deal with from the side of Jerry Damage.
Jerry Damage is going to clear both the Grumble and the Zola to avoid that. But normally when we talk about going infinite, we're talking about Quest Rogue, but Shadow Ranger almost had a chance to go infinite there.
I wake once more.
And the Hex coming down to get rid of the growing beast. But Shadow Ranger is running out of single target removal. So looking at these choices right here, you have the taunt, the poisonous taunt, and the cute guy. He does end up going with the normal 3/3 taunt, valuing that body over a potential poison. I like it.
And he smacks him in the face with that 1/1 snake.
You know, a penny saved is a penny earned, and so every point of damage you can get is valuable.
Let's see what he gets here. And he's gonna play the Shutterwalk. Oh, if only that Shutterwalk is in his hand.
Did we just see a... Oh, that's right, he got the grumble back, so it's okay.
Yes.
That is actually...
Yeah. You don't need it to work. You don't need to play anything if you have the handed. Now he's got a 1-mana Shutterwalk in.
Well played.
I wouldn't give up just yet there, buddy.
He could just be saying it's a good play. This Death Grip. We haven't seen any of the 4-mana 3/3s.
No,
He grabs
there's
one
a
life
life
drinker
drinker.
from his deck. If he could somehow get the other one, Shadow Ranger would be able to have infinite value, but not any healing. Not infinite healing.
So what do you take here? It looks like he took 5-mana 4/6 taunt poisonous. Now we do know that Shadow Ranger does have ways to deal with that. He does have a hex. He looks like he's got an Earth and Might, this Grumble, and he ended up getting a Fire Elemental.
Interesting. Oh, yeah. And so once again, the 9/9 is there, but not able to connect face.
I want to see Shadow Ranger pull off some shenanigans. Lesser Sapphire Spellstone. I want to see a second 9/9 grow come onto the field.
If he ever draws his second copy of Lightning Storm, he could get 2 of them.
Yep, the only Overload cards he has in his hands are the Volcanoes.
Which, although you would get to draw probably 5 cards, now 0, you would clear your whole board, which...
Nope, he gets one.
Oh, yeah.
Although he's going to overdraw here. That's a Zilliax. It's not that big of an overdraw.
It is a good point
And-
that Shadow Ranger chose to play his 3/5 Acolyte of Plane when he had 9 cards in hand and still needed a Life Drinker to try to go infinite healing. It ended up not punishing him, but it was interesting. Jerry Damage once again just hoping he can get that beast.
Yep, I think I don't think these 4 wolves are really gonna get you to where you want to go. I think if you're on the side of Jerry Damage, you just look to build a beast and find a way to deal with that 9/9 taunt there.
At the same time, that's about the most value you're ever going to get from them, and so just putting them out there now when they're not immediately going to get cleared, I can see the benefit of it. Unfortunately, Bewitch gives cards like Avalanche, which clears 3/3s.
Alright, let's see what kind of Murlocs he pulls. It's a big one.
Unlucky. Shadow Ranger saying, I have taunts up, I'm going to go face, try to end this game as soon as possible, even if I don't get to go off my Shutterwalk.
Now, he does have 2 minions on the field, so that nesting to have taunt.
But even if he gets it, is there...
He does
I
not
guess
have
the
a way
other-
to deal with it from hand. He does have a Lava Burst. He could just deal with it and then still push damage to the face, but Jerry Damage does not know about that. I feel like if you're on the side of Jerry Damage, you just gotta put down what you can and hope he doesn't have a way to deal with it, because with all of these Bewitch spells, you don't really know what's gonna come out.
And I believe that is Lethal from Shadow Ranger with Electra Lava Burst. We'll see how he plays it. He
Yep.
does pick up the Electra Stone Surge, seeing it,
It is lethal.
clearing the 710 taunt, and finishing off this series.
And yep, this will be the win for Shadow Range. And with that win, Bon Voyage will take the lead in this series over the Ugly Mucklings. So that will give Bon Voyage 4 points, and that will give Ugly Mucklings 2 points. So that is not, it's not the biggest deficit in the world, but again, whenever you're starting off the finals of Sylvanas League, any points are really going to matter, especially looking at the rest of your teams. So, what are your thoughts on these matchups? Do you think Jerry Damage could have pulled out any of these victories or any of these losses that he had and turned them into victories? Are there any big misplays that you had noticed that could have turned this series around? What are your thoughts?
I'll be honest, whenever I see games or whenever I'm playing games, I go into a sort of like a non-remembrance trance. I've come pretty close to Neville Longbottom, and I don't remember very many of the games I just watched, and so I couldn't really tell you where Jerry Damage might have been able to improve on that, or maybe it was something in prep. I don't really know. Or at the end of the day, maybe Rexar just didn't pull it out for him.
Yep. I thought Jerry Damage played pretty well. I just think I don't know. I just think that as far as matchups, he just did not have the favors. Especially going in with that Secret Hunter into the Shadowwalk Shaman, you're just at a disadvantage from the beginning. Just straight up win rate rise. Yeah.
With that and not drawing spellstones until very late in the game is definitely an uphill battle.
Playing all of your secrets before you get your spellstone. You're just your draws weren't very good, so you got to play to your outs. And if your outs Rexar and you're not really getting anything from that, it's just not very easy to turn around from there.
Yeah. Big props to Jerry Damage for getting those 2 points. We all know that the points are what's going to decide these series, not necessarily the match wins. And yeah, good job by both teams. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up here, and so I want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving coming up. Before Thanksgiving, though, we're gonna give it a little preview, not a preview, but a pre-meal, let's say, on Tuesday. We have the next match in the series. It is going to be at 10 p.m. on Tuesday between Wildfire from Bon Voyage versus Starlax of the Ugly Mucklings. Make sure you set your time up. Try to get in there. Before that is tomorrow. We have the second game of the Rag League Finals between Ultimate and Itachi. Me and Mako will have very different opinions on how that match will go. But tomorrow at 10 will be Ultimate versus Itachi, and then Tuesday at 10 will be Wildfire versus Starlax. Thank you all for joining us for this Sunday Showdown. Please make sure to follow and consider subscribing to our Twitch channel. All money we get from Twitch subs will go to the maintenance of our website and league activities, and just generally helping the league get bigger and better. So do us a favor, smash that follow button, smash that sub button, and opt into Twitch notifications to see when you go live. Thanks
And
for
if
joining
you're
us.
not a part of THL, make sure you head on over to Team Hearth League website and join our Team Hearth League Discord and start talking to people in the channel. And maybe we'll be able to see you at the next DreamHack.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us, y'all. Have a great night, and see you tomorrow night at 10.
See ya.